Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the teacher's role. But first of all, I want to ask you something about your students, about your class and lesson plan. Have you ever experienced when students ask you like, oh, what are we gonna do today? I'm tired of of studying this subject, or I don't like English. Or some of them have asked you like, why do we have to learn English? I don't want to do it. I just want to do something different. Sure, and some teachers can give the answer like, well, you have to. It's in the red curriculum. You have to go there. You have to learn English because you need to present a final exam. You need to present the ICFES. Or anyway, this is my job. You have to learn it, and it's done. Some teachers can arrive, just teach. They get in their minds like it's just 1 hour and a half, and it's done. It's gone. But this is not the idea. Why don't we try to do it different? Why don't we try to become friends? Why don't we try to create a different relation where classmates can see us like a confident person? We can build confidence. We can become a reliable person in which who they can talk with. We can create a different environment and we can make things easier. I remember some years ago when I was in a secondary school, and the teacher told me that I was able to do whatever I wanted to be or I wanted to do. The next day, I felt like interested in the teacher, and I was able to ask, teacher, how can I improve English? Could you help me? Was it difficult for you? I started to have a good communication and maybe it buzzed me to improve myself. And it was not part of the class. We're teaching English not for learning grammar or that's it. It's a subject and this is. We're learning a language to communicate. And what's communication about? That's my idea. We as teachers need to be friends, become friends, a reliable person, a trustworthy person, a person who can count on students and students can count on them, a person who can support them, who can be a listener, who can be hand in hand with the process, but at the same time they can give pieces of advice and students are willing to ask for some pieces of advice. I have seen that some students arrive and they don't want to participate. We as teachers have been in both roles. Have you ever asked why students arrive and they fall asleep? Yeah, you have even fallen asleep, haven't you? If we see here, we can create a beautiful and a better environment for learning English. But we need to become friends because when we are friends, we tend to do things better in a best way because we want to make the environment easygoing, yeah, in a way that we can't create different kind of games. We can listen to students, their maybe pieces of advice they want to give to us in order to improve their learning process. And that's the reason why we are not just information givers. We're not just that person who arrives and I know everything, I have my career, and you have to learn what I know. That's it. No. We need to be that person who is able to combine both roles. We as humans, as people, as social by nature, as social creatures by nature. This is good communication. We don't even know to talk, to know what another person feels. I do believe that if we see to the face of others, we can understand that the person is not having a good time. Maybe the person is having problems, the person is not good with what he feels, he wants to change something. We need to be able to listen to their things and thoughts and situations. We need to be able to support everything. We need to listen to their strengths, to their weaknesses, their dreams. Isn't it what friends do? Yes, it is. That's the reason why sometimes classes and our lesson plans don't go in the best way and don't go as we would like to do it. We have ever ever wondered things like, how can I get the interest from my students? How can I can get my students' interest in my class? We have tried different activities, we have done other ones, but before being able to arrive with information and they want to learn, we need to be people and social. We need to understand as a person first of all, and then we can become teachers. Teacher is not a person who delivers and gives information everywhere. The teacher is a person who can understand others and can know what is the best way, the best strategy for learning, because learning is not something that is like in a square. This is something that we can create, and we can do it in a beautiful and in a better way. That's the reason why also some students have ever asked, why do we have to see that subject? Well, why don't you arrive and start asking how they feel? Why don't you arrive and tell them, what would you like to do today? Do you have anything in mind? Or why don't you at the end of the class start like, what would you like to do next class? What would you like to do during our classes? You need to listen to them because they are also part of the class. That is what it's going to make everything easier and better, and you're gonna get worthy results, the results that you are expecting to have, and not having this like an obligation. This is not the idea. That's not our role. Our role is to become a person who can create and can bring up people, beautiful people who can communicate, not just keep in their minds information like if they were computers. They are not computers. They understand everything, and they are social by nature. So why don't we listen each other? Why don't we try to make the difference? Let's change things. We have ever feel that we don't want to have that kind of teacher. When I was in their undergraduate program, I had a teacher who arrived all the time talking about her life. It was not something that I liked to. It was not a place where I'd like to be. Not only that, but she was also criticizing us the way in which we were dressed. Do you know what happened? Half the class quit it. They didn't want to continue in that class, and they waited until the end of the undergraduate program to enroll that class again, because they didn't want to have the same subject with the same teacher, because they didn't want to be criticized. A friend neither criticizes you nor judges you, because friends are the ones who give you pieces of advice, who gives you some recommendations to improve, but not criticizing you. They don't start criticizing you, because this is not the idea. We need to be able to understand, and need to be aware of those situations in which they could feel worried, afraid, scared. That is the reason why the only person I remember, and I will remember forever, was a teacher who I had, and he decided to allot some time to tell us that time in the classroom was not enough to learn English. He was all the time amazing, because he did some kind of activities where we could share our opinions and thoughts with each other, their classmates, my classmates, and even me. We were talking about our things, our feelings, and we were practicing English. At the end of that semester, the teacher told us that time in the classroom was not enough, that we needed to practice in a different way, that his PhD and his time that he was able to be there for giving us information was not enough to learn English, that we needed to take risks and we needed to look for other different kind of resources. I remember that, and that was what bothered me, to think about my students. Some time ago, I have decided and I created a web page where I could give them resources to practice English. It was not an easy task, but through my experience, I understood that they needed to have the resources. Sometimes they want to practice, and they have approached me, and they have told me that they don't know how to practice, and I don't even know like the specific resource to give them, because I didn't know what they really wanted to practice. But every single student has his or her own way to learn. That was the reason why I have designed that web page where they could get some of this kind of resources. And if they want to practice speaking, they have like a list of resources. If they want to practice listening, they want to practice dictation, they want to practice, and they have resources there. They looked at me and they have told me that they were amazed and fascinated by those ones, because if they want to practice, they have the resource. The teacher is a guide, a friend. We need to make them feel better, and let's make the difference. We can do unforgettable things, and let's try to be unforgettable. There is nothing better as being remembered in a positive way and not in a negative way. And we know that we want to do it. We want to be better. We want to help them. But if you arrive just with the thought of having your obligation, this is not a good. We as teachers need to become friends. And we can do it. I'm sure that you are willing to do it. Let's remember that they deserve to be heard. They deserve to be listened, because they have good opinions and they also have a role in the classroom. If we do it, I know, and I'm pretty sure, I do believe that they will get interested in your class, and you will have better results than just being sat there and thinking about what other activity, an activity followed by another activity. That's not the idea. We need to understand them by heart. They are amazing people. And once you know them, you will be able to learn even from them, because we can learn from each other. Let's become a friend. This is the best strategy for you. Our role is to become friends. We already know how students behave because we have been students. And we already know the position of the teacher. That's our advantage. Take advantage of that advantage, and I'm pretty sure that everything will be better. There is nothing better as being approached by students when they tell you, or they wait for you. Teacher, could I talk with you? Last week I had an interview and it was not so good. I felt so stressed and I was so nervous, and that was what happened to me. That was my experience. One student approached me and told me that I was giving him some pieces of advice to practice English, but that was not what the student wanted from me. He wanted to be heard, and that was really rewarding from my role as a teacher. I really like to be a friend. So what's the strategy? Become a friend, and you will know how rewarding it will be for your teaching, and how rewarding it will be for students in their learning process. I do believe that. Let's try. Let's give it a change. Let's give it a second thought. So become a friend. That's my opinion, and this is what I have learned through my experience. Let's become a friend. Here you go.